All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack a truly wild modern phenomenon. We're looking at how a satirical internet joke just completely snowballed into a massive, heavily scrutinized political movement in India. Today, we're going to break down the numbers, the underlying systemic issues, and the intense pushback surrounding the Cockroach Janta party. To understand how this all started, we've got to look at the inciting incident. On May 15, 2026, during an open Supreme Court hearing, Chief Justice Surya Kant made a remark that, well, accidentally lit the match for a massive digital rebellion. He basically compared unemployed youth to cockroaches and parasites, saying that because they don't have jobs or a profession, they become activists who just, quote, start attacking everyone. Now, he did later clarify he was specifically talking about individuals with fake law degrees, but honestly, the damage was already done. The internet had found its spark. So enter Abhijit Debke, a 30-year-old PR student at Boston University. Literally 24 hours after those remarks dropped, he took to social media and completely flipped the script. He reclaimed the slur, launched a website, and created a platform for what he called the Cockroach Janta Party, or the CJP. He proudly branded it as the voice of the lazy and unemployed, pitching it as this completely satirical political front for the youth. And this perfectly captures the sheer absurdity of the movement's origins. To become a member, the CJP didn't ask for your religion, your caste, or your gender. No, you just had to meet these hilariously self-deprecating requirements. You needed to be unemployed, whether by force, choice, or principle. You had to be physically lazy. You needed to be chronically online for at least 11 hours a day. And my personal favorite, you had to possess the ability to rant professionally. It was a joke, right? A meme. Just another fleeting internet trend. Or, well, so everyone thought. But here's where things go off the rails. That joke completely exploded. Within days, the Cockroach Janta Party amassed an unbelievable 22 million followers on Instagram. To put that into perspective, they overtook the official handle of India's ruling party, the BJP, in under 5 days. Over 350,000 people formally signed up as members. Suddenly, this wasn't just a meme anymore. It was an absolute digital avalanche. Section 1. The youth crisis behind it. Unmasking the Trojan horse.
So you really have to wonder, why do this super specific brand of satire resonate so deeply with millions of people almost overnight? Well, the answer lies in a pretty harsh socioeconomic reality hiding just beneath the surface of the joke. Let's look at the national unemployment rate in India around this time. It sat at a relatively calm 5.1%, but that number completely masks the reality on the ground for the younger demographic. Youth unemployment, meaning those aged 15 to 29, was hovering at a staggering 15.2%. And for educated urban youth, that number crept even closer to 17%. Basically, the youth are experiencing an economic crisis that is 3 times as severe as the national average.
But it gets worse, because it isn't just about a lack of jobs. It's about a massive skills gap. According to reports cited during the movement, only about 42.6% of graduates are actually deemed employable. Think about that for a second. That means over half, 57.4% of young people holding a degree are considered utterly unemployable because they lack the necessary skills. The education system is actively failing to prepare them for the modern job market. So the crucial takeaway here is that the Cockroach Janta Party isn't actually about being lazy. The whole lazy branding, it's just a Trojan horse. What it's actually doing is channeling the deep, systemic anger of an entire generation that did everything right. They studied, they took the exams, they got the degrees, only to find themselves completely locked out of the system. Reclaiming the word cockroach finally gave a voice to millions who felt discarded.
Section 2. A very serious manifesto. From memes to hard policy.
Once the CJP realized they had an audience of tens of millions, they pulled a major pivot. They went straight from internet absurdity to drafting concrete, hard-hitting demands. They actually released a formal 5-point manifesto targeting some incredibly sensitive systemic issues. Number 1, banning post-retirement political rewards for chief justices to ensure judicial independence. Number 2, holding the chief election commissioner criminally liable under the UAPA for deleted legitimate votes. Number 3, demanding a 50% women's reservation in Parliament and the Cabinet. Number 4, canceling broadcast licenses for massive corporate conglomerates like Ambani and Adani to break up media monopolies. And number 5, a harsh 20-year ban for politicians who defect from one party to another, which is aimed squarely at stopping political horse trading. And they didn't just stop at a manifesto either. The party moved right into direct action. Amidst all the controversies surrounding the NEET 2026 exams, the CJP launched an online petition demanding the immediate resignation of the education minister. Within a very short window, they gathered hundreds of thousands of signatures. This wasn't just online chatter anymore. We were looking at organized digital pressure.
Section 3. The system strikes back. The rapid crackdown.
Now, when you apply that much pressure, the system reacts, and it reacts with remarkable speed. Let's map out this rapid-fire timeline. The CJP launched on May 16th. Just 5 days later, on May 21st, their official X account was blocked in India. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, acting on inputs from the Intelligence Bureau, cited national security concerns and a threat to India's sovereignty. The very next day, the founder, Abhijit Deepke, reported receiving anonymous death threats. And by May 23rd, the official website was taken down entirely, alongside multiple hacking attempts on their Instagram accounts. Simultaneously, a massive wave of criticism emerged from political opponents and officials. Critics were quick to point out that the founder had previously worked for the Aam Aadmi Party's social media team. Because of this, they framed the CJP not as a spontaneous youth uprising, but as manufactured digital theater orchestrated by political rivals. On top of that, union ministers alleged that 49% of the party's followers were actually Pakistani bots. We even saw petitions filed in the Supreme Court seeking a CBI investigation into the party, while all sorts of deep state conspiracy theories began circulating online. Section 4. Will the movement survive? The challenge of institutional change. So, the big question is, can an internet phenomenon that started as a literal joke actually build a lasting new system? We really have to contrast viral outrage with institutional change here. As a lot of commentators have pointed out, internet anger has a very short shelf life. It's highly emotional, it grows incredibly fast, but it's often leaderless and lacks direction. Real institutional reform, on the other hand, requires the exact opposite. It's long-term, it's highly structured, policy-driven, and notoriously slow to execute. History actually gives us a really great lens for this. Take the 2011 India Against Corruption movement led by Anna Hazare. It had massive nationwide support, media coverage around the clock, and just incredible energy. But to translate that raw outrage into actual structural change, like the appointment of the country's first Lokpal or anti-corruption ombudsman, that took 8 long, grueling years. And if we look globally, say at the Arab Spring between 2010 and 2012, we see a very similar pattern. Social media was absolutely brilliant at organizing outrage and dismantling old systems. But without a pre-existing, structured organization ready to step in, it often failed to build stable, lasting new systems in their place. And this highlights the exact risk the CJP faces right now. It's a concept researchers call selective activism. It's basically short-term emotional engagement. You know, like taking 30 seconds to fill out an online form or double-tapping an Instagram post, but without the long-term, offline, structural commitment that's required to actually get people to a voting booth or organize on the ground. So we're left at a pretty fascinating crossroads. The Cockroach Janta party successfully captured the undeniable systemic frustration of an entire generation, rocketing to tens of millions of followers in a matter of days. But anger is just an alarm, right? It wakes you up, but it doesn't solve the problem. So, will the cockroaches channel this energy to build a structured, new political system? Or when the viral spotlight fades and the hard work begins, will they simply scatter when the lights come on? That is the big question we should all be watching. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the data.